IO Interactive are veterans of the gaming industry, developing games from 1998, many of which were hits, with a few missteps. Recently, Hitman 3 was released to Steam, and for many, this has highlighted how there are two forces at work at the company: the developers themselves and the elusive upper management. In this video, I'll be addressing the World of Assassination trilogy, and how IOI have managed to botch the launch of every single entry in the series, including Hitman 3's release to Steam, because nobody else seems to be covering it despite the backlash. In 2016, Hitman was released. Developed by IOI and published by their parent company, Square Enix, it acted as a soft reboot of the Hitman franchise, taking about what people loved about Blood Money and expanding on it after the mistake that was Hitman Absolution. After many players got their hands on it, it was apparent that IOI had hit their stride once again and that there was some clear talent and a refreshing vision behind the development of the game. However, players could not rejoice at Hitman's return completely, as the game had an episodic release. Staggering levels over a period of 7 months, many people felt this is predatory. Each episode was offered at an individual low price, but Hitman fans felt pressured to purchase the complete bundle, unknowing of the quality of any future episodes, due to the lower price tag than if they were bought individually. The game was also notorious for its always online feature, requiring the player remain connected to the game's servers at all times, or they will be forced to play a heavily stripped down version of the game, limiting the player's progression and access to various parts of the game, despite the game being single player. The following year, IOI split from Square Enix, allowing them to become an independent developer once again, but at an immense cost. In the deal in retaining full rights to the Hitman franchise, many employees were laid off. In the latter half of 2017, IOI released a mini expansion to Hitman 1 with several new levels. This was created in the hopes that the company could generate enough revenue to maintain independence and create another season of Hitman, as Hitman was advertised as a platform for the world of assassination at the time. The Hitman fanbase purchased this DLC without hesitation, many expressing their desire to support the company and the talent behind it, attributing the always online and previous sales practices as a fault of Square Enix rather than IOI. In 2018, IOI released Hitman 2, a sequel to the aforementioned Hitman, which surprised many fans due to the first game being marketed as a platform or Season 1 during its initial release. The game was published by Warner Bros. Interactive, which gave it a heavy marketing push, although not as much as its predecessor. The game was received with positive acclaim, many citing it improves on the first game in almost every way. Despite the criticism, however, the always online feature was still present in its sequel, as well as the purchasing options that were confusing for newcomers to the franchise. Starter packs, standard editions, silver, gold editions for unreleased DLC, progress not being carried over from the first game. These things put a lot of newcomers off who simply just wanted to purchase a game and knew what they were purchasing. As the loyal Hitman fanbase witnessed this, they came to defend IOI, believing in the sincerity of the company as a whole. They believed the publisher decided to structure the game this way, similarly to Square Enix. The game overall was received very positively despite these practices. However, one cannot deny that these mistakes may have prevented the franchise from reaching the height that it deserved. In 2020, Hitman 3 was officially announced. The good news this time was IOI was finally able to publish it for themselves. Hitman players rejoiced. No more publisher interference, they cried. However, these celebrations were cut short when players on PC were informed of a deal between Epic Games and IOI, giving an exclusive deal to the Epic Games Store, preventing it from releasing on Steam for a full year. Epic Games Store at this point were notorious for this practice, which infuriated the Hitman fanbase on PC. Many people were not a fan of Epic's business practices and did not wish to support them, so they opted not to purchase the game. IOI's justification for the deal was to secure funding for the game so they could have the freedom to create Hitman 3 exactly as they imagined. Again, many players felt betrayed by this decision and felt like they shouldn't be forced to purchase a game on a platform they did not wish to, especially after purchasing the first two games on another one. In early 2021, the game was released, similarly to Hitman 2, except not on Steam this time. The game yet again was received to positive reviews for its level design, visuals, atmosphere, and yet again people criticised the same elements from its predecessors. Always online DRM for a single player game, overpriced DLC, and of course the exclusivity deal. On message boards and forums you would see players comment on the polish of the game and how they wish IOI stopped limiting the potential reach of their games through their stupid business decisions. And now here we are in January 2021 and the game was finally released on Steam. Despite other games such as Borderlands 3 and Metro Exodus being released on Steam at a discounted price once their exclusivity deal ended, Hitman 3 was released on Steam at full price, much to the dismay of its loyal fanbase. Even the most die-hard Hitman fans on PC had a difficult time defending the shady business practices when it arrived onto Steam. There were 6 purchasing bundles for the game, none of which contained all the content that the game had to offer, many of which overwhelmed newcomers yet again, putting them off completely from even trying the franchise. And as a result, the game was negatively reviewed on Steam. But despite all that, many reviews, even the negative ones, highlighted that the game was incredible. But they cannot support these predatory business decisions, as it almost seemed intentional at this point by the upper management at IOI to go against all community feedback from the past 2 Hitman releases. There is some clear talent at IOI, and this video is not designed to be an attack on those people working there. The developers of the game deserve praise for what they've accomplished with the Hitman trilogy. And when I say the developers, I mean the actual developers at IOI, not the management in charge of marketing and business decisions surrounding the company, as it appears after 3 games over the past 5 years they have not got the faintest idea on how to release a game. Despite having an incredible product in their hands, they always seem to sour the experience for players, which again is a damn shame. It's actually bewildering how they manage to mess up every time a new Hitman game is released, even pushing the most dedicated Hitman fans away. It is mind-blowing how badly they always seem to fuck up. I doubt the people at IOI who are responsible for this, release after release, are watching this video, but you need to sort your shit out. Because the same thing is just going to happen for 007, in fact I'm going to call that now, or Hitman 4, whenever that may be.